Council Chair gave us a message, and just to summarize it, he informed us the emergence of COVID-19 has rolled back some of the gains that we made towards the Sustainable Development Goals. And there is a need for us to catch up. But however, we have a challenge with some financial gaps, especially when it comes to the private sector. And he also made us aware that even though countries are having enormous challenges, we must not just focus on the short-term goals, but however, also consider the middle and the long-term goals in our planning. That was the message from our council chair. And also our vice chancellor also made us aware, because of the COVID-19, it have had an impact on the youth, losing out on education, and also leading to unemployment. I want to move to the keynote speakers. So we had two note speakers. One was from Professor Anthony Amwa, and he was talking about, can a revised e-levy be considered a sustainable development financing strategy? And empirical evidence from Ghana. So he made us aware that Ghanaians are not against the e-levy, but however, Ghanaians are a little bit, have a challenge with the rate, and he used evidence to demonstrate that if the rate is reduced from the current 1.5% to about 0.5%, Ghanaians are willing to support the cause. And the main challenges that are associated with the e-levy is in terms of education. People are not educated about the e-levy, and also an issue about the trust. People do not trust our leaders. So if we give education, and also our leaders are able to demonstrate to us that they are using the funds for what the funds are supposed to be used for, then Ghanaians will be willing to pay the e-levy. And also demonstrate that if the e-levy is reduced to 0.5% over a period of 5 years, we can achieve the same amount of money that our leaders want to achieve. And also have another, Dr. Frank Osebidu also talked about financing geohealth, surveillance, and COVID-19. He also made us aware that there is a need to finance geohealth because diseases that occurs at the local level can escalate to the global level. So if we're able to find solutions to issues at the local level, then we're also saving ourselves of issues that will translate into a pandemic, using the COVID-19 as an example. And he also made us aware that in collection of data, we also need to collect data on the geospatial areas, our locations, so that we can also use those things in terms of planning. And mostly when we even collect data, those one on the geospatial ones are not made compulsory, but however, we should also make it compulsory so that those information could be captured. We also had a panel discussion on towards the environment and sustainable development financing in the wave of COVID-19, lessons from development partners. So during the discussion, what came up was, when COVID-19 emerged, some of the NGOs, it affected their funds that they need for implementation of their projects. But however, it also opened opportunities for other sources of finance. Using the case of FES, they mentioned that some countries were not able to use their funds, but because of that, other countries that were able to use their funds, those money was channeled to those countries for them to be able to use those money that other countries were not able to use for their projects. And also using the case of FAO, they also show that even though it affected some of their finance, but however, some projects also came that because of the COVID-19, which they had additional sources of finance to be able to implement all those projects. We also had five technical breakout sessions, which gave opportunity to researchers and policymakers to present their papers and also some of the things that they have done to be able to contribute to sustainable development. And we had 5 of these technical sessions. So one was on environment and climate change, another one was on economics, energy and sustainable financing. The other one was on environment and public health. And also we had circular economy and agriculture. And the last one was on gender, education, digitization and innovation. So members shared their views and ideas how all these papers could lead to the achievement of sustainable development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Che, for the recap of yesterday's event. We're going to start today's presentation with Ms. Esther Appa, and she's talking on social media use disorder among university students during the UTAG strike, prevalence and associated factors. Please, let's welcome Ms. Esther Appa. She's a second-year student at the university.
On our laps, some of us are holding our phones now. And it's already been about 9 hours into the day. And there's one common app that's application reviews today. And your guess is as good as mine. That's a social media app. Or is that not it? Have we all used social media today? WhatsApp, Facebook. Social media use addiction or disorder is a behavioral addiction that is characterized by being overly concerned about social media, driven by an uncontrollable urge to log on to or use social media, and devoting so much time and effort to social media that impairs other important life areas. So there are 4 key things highlighted here. 1, being overly concerned. 2, having an uncontrollable urge. 3, devoting so much time that it impairs your other important lives. There's been several studies that has been undertaken by in different countries, in Lebanon, Hungary, and even here in Ghana. In Lebanon, they found a 23.7 prevalence of social media use disorder, and they found a positive correlation with loneliness. Again, in Hungary in 2017, by et al., they also found a 4.5% prevalence of social media use disorder, and also reported high level of depressive symptoms among adolescents, and also low self-esteem. Other researchers also found gender differences with social media disorder, where it shows that females are more likely to be addicted, or females are addicted to social media more than males. In Ghana in 2015, O2 found that there was a 90% prevalence of possible social media addiction. So if you can't work around your phone, you just can't wait to hold your phone, it's most likely that you have a social media use disorder. However, there is scarcity of empirical data among university students about social media use disorder, especially in stressful situations such as the strike action, the UTAG strike. In our findings, we found that there's a 32% prevalence of social media use disorder among students. That is to say that in every 10 students that we sampled, 3 of them had social media disorder. So our students' population was 319, and 102 of them had social media use disorder. We found that there was no statistically significant association between sex and social media use disorder. We found no statistically significant relationship between age and social media use disorder, even though increasing age is related to decreasing social media strike. They had less academic activities, whereas those in level 300, 400s may have been occupied with academic activities and also being in the system for some time, and also being well abreast with the university system. There was no significance in sex, age, and religious differences in social media, which is not consistent with previous studies which found that females were addicted to social media than males. To conclude, social media use disorder is an emerging public health issue among Ghanaian university students, and is profound, especially among level 100s and level 200s. Based on our findings, we recommend that 1, mental health screening be conducted for university students to help us understand the level of social media use disorder among the students. That would inform interventions that can help curb or help students address social media use disorder. Secondly, behavioral.
Esther is doing so much well. Some of us, when we were at her level, we couldn't have done what she's done. So let's give it to her again once more. Good morning to you all protocols observed. Esther has started today's presentation, and in order not to waste so much time, we will give the opportunity to participants and all those here to interact and engage with her as far as her presentation was concerned. Even though her focus was on students, we know all of us are active as far as social media is concerned. So let's engage her and then make her session so much interactive. So the floor is open for questions, clarifications, and then comments.
Okay, we have a microphone positioned at the back. Please walk to the microphone and give your question, please. We don't want to be moving the mic. It disturbs the connection. So please, one question at a time. I see Nene's hand is up in the front, and then Dr. McPrice, Dr. Price, and then Dr. Frank Video say, okay, so three.
So please, you can kindly.
Yeah, good morning to you all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nene. So, with social media use disorder for Ghana, there is scarcity of data on it. We have little data on social media use disorder, so hopefully as time goes on, you reference. But we did reference PO2 in 2015. We spoke about addiction. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, congratulations for a very good job done. I wanted to ask a few questions. One, you made reference to the UTAC strike. I want to assume that you're making reference to the most recent one, even though you didn't specify that. So because of that, okay, fine. My next concern is that you talked about people spending so much time on the social media that leads to the disorder that you mentioned. I was thinking you would also, in the sense that if we look at what is happening now in the post-COVID era, a whole lot of businesses and even part of academia is going digital. So now that people are using the social media to conduct businesses across, how does that dovetail into the whole idea? And then finally, to find out if you also considered the rate of this social media use during the pre-COVID era and after COVID. Because during COVID era, people are switching onto the social media for positive things as well. So these are the concerns I wanted to draw your attention to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I have my collaborator, Dr. Nwoza, answer.
Interesting work, very interesting. And I did realize that one of the important findings, I deem it very important, was not statistically significant. And because of that, you couldn't dwell much on that, especially the relationship. Sometimes you don't just throw it away. You can still include it as a very vital result and include it in your discussion. And in the discussion, you can just point it out that it was, although not statistically significant, but there are still some differences in what you observe, because age, I think, is a very important aspect when it comes to social media disorder. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Esther, thanks for your wonderful presentation. As I listened to your presentation, this came up that I want to ask. I just want to know from the student's perspective how effective some of these social media tools are with respect to teaching and then learning. Because I realize that sometimes, I don't know, after using the social media, it seems like, well, I want to know from the student's perspective whether lecturers are able to effectively do teaching and learning using that tool.
That wasn't the focus of our study. I mean, the questions we asked them, we didn't look at that. But literature, the Ghanaian literature, there was some literature that talked about students, they need to be there. Some of the students don't want to be so engaged because of their addiction. They want to leave, but because they have to access some of their learning materials like slides, notes, books, recommended materials via WhatsApp pages, they have to be there. So that is what I can say about it. Thank you.
So, good morning.
Good morning.
Esther, thank you very much for the presentation. I think I also enjoyed it. And I found it very interesting, the connection with the social media and the disorder. So during the presentation, I didn't quite find the definition for the disorder, but I think it's been clarified by the promoter. Yes. Yes. One of the doctors commented, I was really looking out for the gender bit. We know that, when it comes to the presence of male and female on the internet, there's a gap. So more males are on the internet than the females. So that's a general thing. But I think you had your population of interest. So that's the student. So I was still trying to find out if there's still the differences, even amongst the student, but I didn't quite find it. Maybe it wasn't of interest to you as well. But if sometimes we could go beyond the statistics and try to find the reasons behind the results that we find, so combining the quantitative and the qualitative, it would equally be a good thing. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam, thank you very much. From literature, and these studies were not conducted in Ghana, they found females to be more addicted to social media compared to males. But in our study, the key thing here has to do with no statistically significant association. It's a different thing because the statistics depend on the sample size. So in reality, there could be differences, but statistically, it's not significant. What we found is that males reported 32.4% and females 31.7%. There is a difference, but in terms of the quantitatively, it doesn't really make any statistical meaning to argue for a statistical difference between males and females. But we'll take that, your suggestion, into consideration, where we'll do a mixed method.
Can we have another set of questions, comments, clarification?
Please, good morning. Good presentation from Esther. I think Esther demonstrated that the level 100, they are more into social media than that of level 200 in that order. And for me, I think I agree with that, because when Obama was, when he was a president, he went to one of the schools and he asked the students, what do you really want? And they said, you want a device that you can plug into your ears and everything will enter. They don't want to see any teacher go and say somewhere, no. So, and at the same time, I'm also tempted to believe that sometimes, even though as we are aging, then your interest in social media decreases. But sometimes, as you are aging to when you don't have much to do, you are tempted to engage yourself in the social media. For all you know, VC may be, weekends going to social media, Facebook, VC, maybe I'm lying. So these are all possibilities.
British Council, Ghana, and Cameroon. He's here in our midst to give us a short discussion. So please, let's welcome him as we discuss SDG implementation in Ghana, the role of a development partner. Let's welcome him, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I would say that I've already started enjoying the academic environment, which I strongly miss since I joined the British Council. I'm really, really pleased to be here and being invited, to take part in the conversation. I know that I'm expected to speak extensively to the body of academics here on the British Council's intervention that supports the SDGs. But, I've been traveling lately, but this is very important for me. I try to make out time to attend. So this will be more about giving a goodwill message, to the university on this year occasion of having this conference, this important conference, by the way. Esther, I must say, it's sort of an indispensable tool in this very age. Nevertheless, there are a couple of challenges that bedevils its usage, and then the society is grappling with all of that. So thank you very much again for inviting the British Council to make this a quick submission to the conference. Warm greetings from all of us at the British Council. As has been said, my name is Chiko Donyemerela. I remain the country director for British Council, overseeing our activities both in Ghana, Cameroon, and sometimes I'm also disturbed with matters in Sierra Leone. So that's how my parameter is. So I'm obviously delighted to speak before this August gathering this morning. On the thank you. So the British Council, particularly on the British Council Sustainable Development Goals, related intervention and our success stories. That is the topic we're asked to speak about. Let me begin by informing us that the British Council is the United Kingdom's international organization for education opportunity and cultural relations. Our vision is to support a more peaceful and prosperous world that is built and anchored on trust. We support peace and prosperity by building connections, understanding, and trust between the people of the United Kingdom and the countries where we have our presence. As a matter of fact, we have our footprint in over 100 countries, in 220 locations, and here in Ghana, we have 2 office locations, one in Accra and one in Kumasi. In faraway Cameroon, and then English language. The main focus of the British Council is to promote the teaching and learning of English language across the world. Friends, without doubt, the human race proved collective resilience in our adaptation to the shift in normalcy, which was brought about by the COVID pandemic, which was talked about a while ago, as well as the timely innovation and intervention that were necessitated by the scourge. This was seen in how we rolled out our sleeves and got to work at the onset of the pandemic. Obviously, the British Council responded also, just like every other organization, to the scourge. We pivoted our programs digitally. Our teacher, what we call factual writing, and as well as media and information literacy. So those 2 skills, our entry point is the colleges of education in Ghana. So we're supporting teacher educators in colleges of education in Ghana with those 2 skills, factual writing and then media and information literacy. The essence is that teachers, trainee teachers, while they are coming out of the colleges of education, are equipped with the skills, those 2 21st century core skills, media and information literacy and factual writing. And then when they begin to teach, they embed these skills on young people. And as a matter of fact, one of the core objectives of that project is that, of course, if you want to search anything on the internet, our default is usually Wikipedia. And then most of the content you get in is working in the project they called Connected Accra Project. addressing this disconnect between key stakeholders in the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Ghana. I must say that I was so fascinated by the project the students already produced in that Connected Accra project. A young guy, Abdul Malik, blind from birth, was able to develop a machine learning system where he can, as a blind student, go to an ATM and withdraw money unaided. The IAU, as we call it, program has also facilitated a partnership between Regional Maritime University, University of Durham, and Wazuri Enterprise in a project they call Project Kenten. Understand that Kenten means basket in Twi, yeah? Yeah, Kenten. Pardon me, this my Nigerian accent will always expose me all the time. Which explored problem facing agribusiness in Ghana from a logistic point of view. Also, through a partnership between University of Health and Allied Sciences, University of Cape Coast, and University of St. Andrews in the UK, the Ghana Enterprise Innovation Partnership. So we have, through our TVET work, trying to support skills. So we are tracking investment flow into Ghana from the European Union. So what we are doing is to track those investment flow into Ghana to identify why Ghanaians are not exploiting the opportunities presented by the investment flow in Ghana. So where the gaps are in skills, the British Council is working now to fill those gaps, particularly in the 5 northern regions in Ghana, helping the 54 TVET institutions in the 5 regions in Ghana to support skills that support investment flow in Ghana. I guess I will press the pause button here, and then thank you very much for inviting me. I'm hoping that you invite me next time, then I will give you extensive, academic laden speech. And thank you very much, friends.
Let's give him a round of applause once again. Thank you so much, Mr. Chikodi Oyemirila, for such a detailed work of what British Council is doing in Ghana. And I'm sure that UESD will find its way in there, and you can also support some of our programs. So please keep that in mind when we come knocking on your door. Okay, I would like to call on the moderator, Dr. Isiado, to come and see if we have questions, comments on what he's discussed, and any suggestion on how we can collaborate as 2 institutions. So the floor is open for comments and suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that detailed exposition. Yesterday, in one of the presentations on the financing of SDGs, it came up that developing partners are contributing, but their percentage of contribution is minute. So the exposition given us today has really given us details on what British Council is doing. So at this point, we will call on or clarifications as far as their contribution on SDG financing is concerned. So we open the floor for questions.
I wish to make some remarks before we make those. Thank you very much, Mr. Chikodi. Okay, my friend is called Chikudi. Chukudi. And I also want to tell you that you are not here alone. You have not missed your way, because our chairman of council taught in Ahmadu Bello University. Yes, he taught in Ahmadu Bello University. I was also in Ilorin for 2 years. Chukudi is in Warri. So you are home here. We are delighted to have you here, and also to learn of the innovation for Africa. Then where are the others to come around? And so we thank you, you have raised it. The connecting classrooms, I was on your mail list. There's something happened between us, so I took myself off. But I went to Sri Lanka on that connecting classrooms to do some work there. And so we are already working, and we want to urge you to count this university in as 2 years as we are. There are big things that we are doing. We have collaborators, some collaborators. Right in front of you are two ladies from Frederick Ebert Stiftung that has supported this program for the second year now. They had the faith in us to support us in the first year, and we are doing a couple of things with them.
Are very tight. So I would expect that you compete well, because there will be competition. If I tell you the universities that competed on the first phase that just ended, they are strong. But we were transparent when we were choosing the 3 centers of excellence. It was a big battle. When we were choosing the 20 network partner universities, it was a big battle. So I trust that the university will compete. But I'll follow you up. I'll follow you up. Trust me, I will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I don't know if the British Council is the right channel for my request, but I will still ask. In Ghana, the mode of academic delivery is the English language. And whenever our students and also nurses want to travel to work in the UK, they still have to write English exams. I want to find out how can the British Council be involved to waive these particular exams for us. Thank you.
Managed to get there without writing that text. Thank you very much.
Look, what you are raising is big O. I have been invited by the Parliament, the Joint Committee of Foreign Affairs and Education, chaired by my friend Prince Amma, the former executive of NACA. I was invited there, and it was a very intense query on this matter. So it's quite big. Look, IS, International English Language Test System, as we call it, is benchmarked to Common European Framework of Reference, CERF. So it's from level 6 to level 9. Ghana is an Anglophone country with a very sound, robust education system, no doubt about it. And this case have come up, in several fora to waive Ghana from taking IS, both for immigration purposes and for education purposes. Let us put into perspective that universities are autonomous. Universities are autonomous. Even the scholarship I spoke about, the EdTech one, the one we are doing with the University of Edinburgh, which the minister has given me four names from Ghana Education Service, Ministry, St. Luke's, and one school leader. The University of Edinburgh has insisted that they want to be sure of their standard of English language before they get the scholarship. Globally, universities are autonomous. What I will expect more, I'm also trying to be careful with this one, is the tenor of the exam. If you make a case for why is it every 2 years, you have a case. So we need to be convinced that we don't need it. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the universities are autonomous on this. 2 days ago, I myself and the High Commissioner bid farewell to 44 Ghanaians who are leaving to the UK to pursue master's, PhD programs in various UK.
Very much.
Director, now you are here, I would like to appeal to your office because you are the director for the British Council for Ghana. You know, for the whole country to benefit from your, because one of your aims is to teach English throughout the world. And I'm of the view that you may have to consider having learning management system, a common platform. Wherever you may find yourself in Ghana, even if you're in Achimbabiate, you should be able to access it and learn the English language from British Council. At the same time, I think that the UK schools, they look at your financial strength, because I remember I schooled at the University of Greenwich in London, and when I was going, they asked me to write English proficiency, you know, and I met some Chinese who cannot speak proper English. They were there. They have the money, they paid all the school fees, so I'm tempted to believe that if you have the money to, if you can afford, then you are given the permission to come, you know. So I think they are not being fair to we, the Africans. That you must do something about.
Where are all our phones? How many of us have phones here? I requested a particular photo be put up for me. I don't know whether it's available. Okay, let's see the phones. Prof. Chair, smartphones, laptop computers, a lot of digital devices, tablets, phablets, all those ones together has become part and parcel of our lives. I think that the first thing we look for when we wake up in the morning, we stretch to find our phone. And then we look at how many messages we have. If you are a boss like me who sends message at 12 midnight to your people, it means that the staff under you will be looking forward to having a message from you requesting a particular information to be ready by 8 a.m. Developing the managerial potential within the university so that we can perform properly. Prof. Chair, performance and productivity are two critical outcomes for any organization. And in pursuit of this, we have caused a lot of our employees some levels of stress. In order to achieve our aim, in order to reach the productivity we require or we look forward to, we have had several technological mediations to enable our staff perform. We have laptops. We have techno-stress. It's associated with the psychologist Craig Broad. And this is closely linked to the daily struggles associated with the use and adaptation of technologies in organization. Techno-stress, therefore, is an emergent phenomenon closely related to the pervasive use of information and communication technologies in a modern society. It has been defined as specifically the problems of adaptation due to a person's inability to cope with or to get used to technology. But in our day and time, you seriously cannot work. They have job loss because they are not adequacy. And taking into consideration the toll on employees who have to be constantly connected. They have to stay. There is no downtime. You are on 24 hours a day. You have to respond to emails. You have to answer WhatsApp call. You will have to be on a particular platform. You will have to join a Zoom meeting. Changing with time. When you, the moment you buy iPhone 12, then there is a Pro Max, and then there is something else. And within a short time, you will have to upgrade. You will have to buy this to. So there's this techno uncertainty associated effect on the workers. This is my favorite guy. He has two faces. This is the face. This is the face he will show the VC. And when the mask comes off, and he's at his wit's end. He's having a pass for this attack. Some of the effect is that the staff have decreased commitment to the task ahead of them or before them. And we have increased interpersonal conflict. You realize that we are spending a lot of time making peace. But I'm telling you that the causative agent is the stress that we are under due to the increased technology use. We also will see it from the late report for work. And I like upper right, you know, in addition to the fact that some do not also have any sense of direction. But literally, we have this happening in our time. Prof. Chair, techno stress at our workplace is tipping the balance. We have all these fanciful things, but now we are prisoners in our own homes and workplaces. We are hooked. We are addicted. We cannot let them go. You tell yourself, I'm going to sleep a little. You wake up and wake up, but you don't sleep. We are hooked. We are under attack. We are under... Prof, this is for the job schedule, the age group. So the red one is the administrative staff, the blue one are those on ICT-related schedules, and so on. The green is the teaching and research staff, and so on. Prof, majority, 92% of our respondents agreed that they use some kind of technology in their daily work, and that they spent between 1 to 15 hours a day using technology. We had about 29.5% saying that I don't know. Okay, so this is just to elaborate on which one should I? The chairman is looking here. So, the red is that are those who said they have experienced some stress. The orange is the one saying they have never experienced any stress. And these are the nature of jobs that so you see, as I said, we have more of the technical teaching and research telling us that they, on their job, have experienced some techno stress. Prof. Chair, we already talked about the symptoms. And so, we grouped these stresses that emanate from technology. We have neck ache, blurred vision, and high levels of anxiety. 86.9% of our respondents said that they have experienced this due to technology. 9.2% said the vision. We know that it's going to affect productivity and efficiency. And information overload too. Prof. Chair, These initial results indicate that techno-stress has found its seat in the University of Environment and Sustainable Development within 2 years. And it's affecting the performance of our employees. They said that the respondents informed us 16.7% said that they have been greatly affected by the stress emanating from the use of technology. 50 said they are somewhat affected. So when you combine the somewhat affected and to a great extent, you get about 66% or 67, sorry. 70% or 70%, you know, and the rest to a very little extent, and then no effect at all, 6.9%. Prof. Chair, pay attention to the health and digital well-being of every single staff. It's affecting many, and to be able to know the steps to take to mitigate the effect, we need to understand what is happening for the techno-stress ambulance near you. Thank you.
Please, let's do it better for her.
I forgot to say that I'm doing this with Mr. Yamson. Please come forward. The librarian.
That was an insightful presentation. Thank you so much, Madam Registrar. At this juncture, we'll open the floor for questions. Wow. Comments, clarification. So Dr. Kube will start for us.
I would like to find out if you've been able to do some gendered analysis in terms of techno-stress. Especially, I'm interested in the number of hours spent, whether there are gender variations or age variations in these variables. Thank you.
Madam Eunice.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Madam. I think the first presentation and yours is very insightful and very informing. Thank you very much. Just for my curiosity, you brought out some findings on the technical staff and the research staff, where I think the neck pain or something like that, one was 67%. And the other was it 100%? I think I don't know, but I was rather thinking that the teaching staff would have more of the neck pains because they are almost always on their laptops. And so could it be that they have an information of how to manage probably the neck pains more than the technical staff? Or who are the technical staff? So. Okay, so then I'm surprised to, unless maybe just for my curiosity, to know the categorization on the technical staff. Yeah, so that I can better understand. If not, then the findings are a little surprising. And also your recommendations, I find them to be very progressive. And of course, when a woman is giving recommendations, I'm skewed. It's very progressive. Thank you very much. So, You said that there could be some form of leave, and I find it very good. So maybe you can find a mechanism to see that, for instance, if Madam sends her subordinates a message on WhatsApp and there's a response, there's an engagement, it's part of the working time. So maybe in a week, if it's an hour, it should be deducted cumulatively given to the person as a leave.
Appa said, Miss Appa said, You know, the younger ones spend more time, you know. One of the respondents even said that they spend 24 hours. And then I said, this is impossible. What time do you sleep? It means you don't sleep at all, you know. So the younger ones spend, and look at the age group, you know, majority of us are between the ages of, if you look at, you add 30 to 39, no, let's even say 49.
Yes, private matters. If we engage during official hours, which the university is paying for, then we discuss official matters. But we jam the whole thing. We want to do anything at any time. Our marriages are collapsing. Sometimes when the man or the spouse is in traffic, prof calls him or her, and he has to answer the call. You can imagine the confusion that it will create. Yes. So we are doing so many things during odd times, odd periods, and it's creating a whole lot of mess. So I think planning should be the main issue that we have to look at. We plan properly, we'll know when to do what at what time to reduce the stress so that we can have time for our private life.
Very important study that has been carried out. But I think the recommendation should not rest with this university only. As I've mentioned, the banks and other places giving you, we need to have a forum to disseminate our findings and charge National Communications Authority to make sure that if our official hours are from 8 to 5, all communications from our banks, whatever, those official things, should respect that time and not interrupt our sleep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you very much. Madam, I wanted to ask a very sensitive question. The question is this: I want to find out the status or admissibility or otherwise of text messages, WhatsApp messages, when they are sent within the framework of official information. If, for instance, somebody wanted to reach his or her official driver, you call the person after working hours, he or she doesn't pick. You have a feeling he doesn't want to pick it. So you follow up with a WhatsApp message or a text message. You see that he or she has read it but still hasn't responded. When you come the following morning, what will be the reaction? As opposed to if the driver or that subordinate were to make a certain official request to you by text message, then
used against the staff. But it has to be in the policy. We take it from the policy. So watch out for the communication policy. And when you see WhatsApp and so on, then it means I can officially inform you on things via these means. Is that right? Okay. I guess Prof. Papo's own was a recommendation and not really a question. But I agree with you, the way they disturb our sleep. And it's not only the telcos, but the banks. And they don't have any money for you. They still send this information. When you see the notification, it gives you some kind of happiness, and then it goes down because it's not a correct message you were expecting. Yes, so that's it.
Okay, so we shall take another set of questions. Prof. Amwa.
As usual, the registrar will never disappoint. Thank you very much for your presentation. Are you by this proposing that we should consider something like techno stress allowances, which can be paid from IGF? Thank you very much.
My bosses are here, so those ones. Prof. Chair, please, did you hear? techno stress allowance, so I'll bring a paper to council.
Thank you very much. Good presentation from our Madam Registrar. I think what Prof just said, I want to say something to add to what he said. If you go to Water River Authority, you have something called critical staff. They are critical staff because at any point in time, when they call you, you must attend. You must go to the powerhouse and solve a problem. And because of that, they used to call them on their personal phone, and they were intention of
corporate recommendation. So can we also have a psychological or cognitive detachment unit so that they, like today, after the closure of this conference, you can say that the conference committee, you are very tired, 1 week holiday. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, just to continue from where my brother ended. Indeed, psychological detachment has been found to be negatively associated with work-life conflict. So I want us to take this study further. Look at how techno-stress affects work-life conflict and some other variables so that we can come out with a holistic, policy document on how we can manage techno-stress, work-life conflict. In terms of the psychological detachment.
Just three quick announcements. Monday, 29th August to 31st, we'll have our training course on GIS, and it's 500 cedi per participant. You can call 020-817-6058. The number again, 020-817-6058. The link of any other information on the training course is on our website. That is www.uesd.edu.gh. Kindly go online and check out this training course. It is on GIS, GeoHealth, and all this analytics. Please register to be a part, and let's make it fruitful. The last announcement is for registered participants.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, Pro Vice Chancellor, Registrar, senior members, and a few students who are here. Last year at Akosombo, I said I was fascinated to see the enthusiasm for research in this new university. Each time I come here, I'm encouraged every time that we have started on the right path and we are making good progress. I thank you very much for what you are doing. I really don't intend to summarize what we have covered at this meeting. But I take note that Dr. Sewusu provided a summary of the activities of yesterday. And so I don't intend to go back to them. But during the technical session, I happened only to be in one of the subgroups, ecosystems, biodiversity, and climate change. And some of the topics that were covered gave me the impression that indeed we have a collection of very ingenious people in this university. How on life, floristic composition of cemeteries, the type of flora that you have, the type, the composition, And I mean, several things that you don't think about. You don't think these will form the basis of research and publications. And then Esther Appa blew my mind off my mind with a second-year student making a presentation to an audience like this. It can only happen at UESD. I mentioned last year that the registrar is an administrator who ought to be in the office administration, but she doesn't want to leave that. She doesn't, you know, he explained that it is up to us to prove to those people who want to continue testing as in English that we don't need it. If you are not doing very well, really, they will have cause to say, Atro is from Ghana, from Nigeria, from Kenya, and he's getting 3. So we must continue to test them. So I think that should be sufficient notice to us that we should take our English usage, both reading, will continue to require that it should be tested to come to English. In Nigeria, it is easy to say that I want to follow you. And once somebody just told me, the person wanted a lift, I want to come with you. And he says, I want to follow you. And I said, okay, I'm going, you come. And he said, no. I said, give me a lift. And I said, oh, I want to follow you. That's not what it means. You want to come with me. You want to accompany me. It may be subtle, but it means a lot. I don't want to use some of these. But we should be careful. Instantly, they will require you to be tested. I was lucky. At the time I went to the UK, I didn't have to take any test. But it is for you who are still studying who will prove to people that they are wasting their time testing you because you've already passed. Thank you very much.
Presence, sir. At this point, I would like to call on Ms. Linda Ofori-Nyako to give us the vote of thanks.
I deem it a great pleasure to be here to give the vote of thanks for this August occasion. Council Chair, Prof. VC, Madam Registrar, invited guests, deans and directors, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. It is our honor and pleasure to express our gratitude to everybody present here. Anybody who participated in this conference, we say Ayeko. We are most grateful that without you, this conference wouldn't have been a success. For every contribution anybody made, from the technical team, the media team, the reporters, the MC, and even the cleaners who made this place ready, we show our appreciation to every single soul, and we say God bless us all. See you next year. Thank you.